will say it's rather very unfortunate. The same party gave him this ticket, bypassing the same section of the Constitution he is quoting. Members of our party can go back and recheck it. Section 7, subsection 3C of the Constitution, the PDP Constitution, states very clearly that we must adhere to the zoning and rotation of the party offices and elective offices of this country. When we met, the first committee that met, the zoning committee, only handled the zonal, the party offices without the elective offices. So for 6 months, forms had been sold to people, people have bought, they've been campaigning, all over. And they knew. We had a meeting of NEC, and we realized that there was some kind of a gap. Because once you start zoning party offices, simultaneously you must zone elective offices. And our brothers, we had a meeting, the same Iyocha Ayu set up a revisitation committee to look at this zoning report. At that meeting, the very first day was quite stormy. Some were saying there was no need for any zoning. We should just go ahead and do whatever was needful. And we reminded them of the section 7, subsection 3C, that is still in writing, that we must adhere to the zoning and rotation of principal offices, including the party offices. You have zoned the party offices without the elective offices. There was a misnomer there. We cited it. He ended up in a fiasco the first day of the meeting. Consequent meetings, then there was some kind of sanity. People realized that we were not just talking off the shop. They now decided that, look, okay, how can we, if a mistake was made 6 months ago, you have allowed people to do A, B, C, D. This is not the time to now start zoning without considering those people who had paid for the forms, who had been campaigning for the forms, and purely on moral suasion purposes. And because of the camaraderie in a family, we went back with the report that, one, there must, from now on, before the commencement of sales of forms, we must zone the party positions and the elective positions. But because of the observation at this occasion, we will allow it to go, and that's how they allowed all the various zones to participate in the presidential primaries. The Constitution is still there. And because of that mistake that was made, which is impacting the party now, rationally, if you know the tenets of the party, which I have stated severally on the media, the presidential candidate and the national chairman of the party cannot come from the same zone, because inclusivity would have been thrown overboard. The president from the north, vice president must come from the south, senate president from the north, speakership must come from the south, secretary to government from the north, national chairman from the south. So 3 up, 3 down. After 8 years, what you needed to do, all the 3 positions in the north will come to the south, and all the 3 positions in the south will come to the north. We found out that many of those people who have been canvassing that we should have a real look at this to bring about the issue of inclusivity. The practice in the past was in every state you have leaders or you have governors, and you consult them before you start submitting names for national campaign. If you look at the structure of the national campaign the way it is, everybody on that table, none of them was consulted. So if you want half house, so be it.
So Chief Judge,
if you want a full house, so be it. And we said, so was I consulted for nomination from Lagos State? Was all the other people, were they consulted? So if you want to do it on your own, good luck to you. And those are the things that we noticed, and we now decided that, look, if they don't want us to participate in the national campaign, then we must go back to the public and let them know. You know, very simply put, if you look at the issues we have raised, this issue of inclusivity, that's that sense of oneness. Our candidate has this onus. He says he's a unifier. If we cannot unify our party at this small level, what is the guarantee that when he gets there, he will be ready to unify this country? Otherwise, you'll be talking about...
All right, I'd like you to react to what Mr. Atiku Abubakar has said. Yeah. He said, look, the constitution of the party has slated how a national chairman can be removed. The body or the organ that can remove him was the one that also placed him, that gave him a vote of confidence. Now, and there are others who will say, if you remove a national chairman from the north, automatically, based on the constitution of your party, a northern deputy vice chairman of the party will take over from him. So it still leaves you with the agitation of a southern national chairman, except if you now go for a fresh national convention of your party. Can you do that? Can you risk that?
No. Now, let me try and educate the public on this issue. We are not talking about removing him or forcing him. He himself, Iyorchia Ayu, stated pointedly that peradventure, if the presidential candidate emerges from the north, I didn't say it, he said it publicly, that he will resign. So why is he sticking to the point? You know, the issue we are talking about is purely moral issue. It's a purely moral issue. Once we use that same moral issue to allow Atiku to compete, because President Buhari, is he from Anambra or is he from Lagos? He's from the northwest. He's from the north. He's on his 8th year. When he completes his term, now you have another northerner who will go on. Doesn't that affect the inclusivity, the sensitivity, and the balancing that the founding fathers envisaged for our party? So if he's talking purely on legal issues, no, that's not what we are saying. If we use the same moral compass to allow him to contest at that time, because he's from the north, he would have been zoned, because chairmanship had been zoned to the north, it means the presidential candidate must come from the opposite zone, which is the south. Now that you took up the ticket, Ayu himself stated completely that we should allow that once a presidential candidate emerges from the north, he himself will be too happy to resign. So why are we now playing some games? Why are we playing games? If we didn't do that at that time, would he have emerged? Would Atiku have emerged? No. If we are able to bend over backwards to achieve and close ranks, it's not a fixated thing that at least like a Berlin Wall. Even the Berlin Wall, at the final analysis, did they not collapse it? So if we are asking, we're not talking on moral on the constitutional issue of are you coming or are you going. What we are saying is that on moral basis, because he himself stated that he would like to if the presidential candidate comes from the north, I will be too happy to resign.
Have you considered deeply the implication of this boycott?
Implication of the boycott, because we believe that this party has a tripod, stands on a tripod. And you know, a three-legged body is a very stable platform. Justice, fairness, and equity. We wrapped them all up and called it all inclusivity. If you are members of an association and one group decides that he doesn't need you, then let him go and win. Let him go and win. What we are saying is not for Bode George, it's not for Wike, it's not for Jerry Ghana, it's not for Jonah Jank. We are talking about inclusivity, that the founding fathers found a system that will incorporate all Nigerians, all tribes of Nigeria. And you are telling us, you are now bringing up some legal issues, they will have to do this. Really, I can't believe this is what I'm hearing. What we decided yesterday, you know, 24 hours in politics is a very long time. But for you to tell us that it doesn't matter, the South doesn't matter, you have some friends in the South, if that is your attitude in managing this country, does that make sense? Does that make sense? A leader must be humble. A leader must respect the will of the people, because it is the vote of those people multiplied that will get you to the villa. Are you telling all the southern people they don't matter? No, that's not a right attitude. What is the ambition of one individual? During the discussion last night, everybody still stated emphatically that they will remain PDP members, irredentist members, and they are not ready to go anywhere. We are sending a signal for them to do a rethink, because politics is not about like Berlin Wall. You listen, and the party interest superimposes all other private and personal interests. I am shocked that this will come out as a statement. The opposition will use it. The only good thing that I will tell you is that not one single dissenting voice raised an alarm that they were quitting the PDP. We will work for all those who had picked up our tickets. But when we are going to work, like he was doing and campaigning, like he went to Kano to get the support of people in Kano, I also want to go to the rostrum in Lagos and tell the people that the exacerbated division among tribes, we will be able to close up the ranks and revisit Nigeria. And as one of the issues raised by him, that is a unifier, where then is he unifying? If you have a little problem And all you are talking about is constitutionality. Where is the issue of emotions, for God's sake? We are not leaving this party, but at the same time, justice, fairness, and equity, the tripod of the party, we will maintain it. And if we don't maintain it, the platform will start wobbling. Whatever be the outcome, the future generations and the historians will know who to blame.